Good morning, everyone. I have another cognitive bias video for you. This one is the hindsight bias. It's probably one of the ones I suffer from the most. This is a bias where you remember yourself always having been correct about a certain belief, even though your belief switched. So one of the classic examples is you ask someone who's going to win the presidency, and then when the opposite person wins, they say, oh yeah, I always believed that person was going to win. Or who's going to win the Super Bowl? And then they're wrong, but they remember being right. So they switch in their head. And it's happens to all of us. I get it a lot with making bold predictions about politics and stuff. Like Nick Collins called me out on I didn't think masks were going to go away. I honestly thought, once a terrorist regime imposes with violence a radical new requirement on you, they rarely reel it back in. Like we still have the TSA, we still have the Department of Homeland Security. So I didn't think masks were going to go away. And sure enough, they did. So it's good to have critics out there to remind you of your mistakes so that you aren't as susceptible to hindsight bias. And it's also good to make public predictions because if you don't write it down, and even if you write it down, if it's private, you're still susceptible to hindsight bias. So if you make some bold public predictions, and then obviously lots of them are going to be wrong, and then if you have a good group of friends around that calls you out on it, you can help to minimize this effect on yourself. So one of the other areas where I think I struggle with it is remembering how hard it was to break free of religion. So for me, that was around 16, 17 when I started to actually read the Bible, think about it, realize it's not the word of God. But man, that was a hard time to go through. I mean, I cried myself to sleep thinking I was going to burn in hell. I prayed to God to put me on the right path. If I was going astray, please lead me back, But now that it's, 15 years later, I don't feel those negative emotions at all because I realize it's just pretty much a joke. So, but yeah, it's hard for me to put myself in, I just think I always felt this way. And I have to try really hard to remember those traumatic, periods of questioning and realizing the religion I was brainwashed with as a child wasn't true. And so maybe I can try to adopt some more sympathy for you guys who are still early in those stages of waking up.